In our first story, the majority leader in Parliament, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, is urging the special prosecutor to collaborate with the Attorney General and the Economic and Organized Crime, as well as the Auditor General, in probing the Airbus bribery scandal. This, he believes, will ultimately help unmask the individuals implicated in the scandal. On January 31, 2020, Ghana was named as one of 5 countries in which the plane maker Airbus paid or attempted to pay millions of dollars in bribes in exchange for contracts, leading a court in Britain to slap a fine of some $3 billion on the company. Now, speaking on Asempa FM's political and current affairs talk show, Ekusi, saying Oseche Mensah-Bonsu maintains he suspects the then President John Mahama played a key role in the scandal.
Because our strong suspicion was say kickbacks no more kwesa. Plain one is here saying plain no. You talk about new fine.
Plain no almost say President new be dia.
Where is it?
Say be any panic quarantine.
Plain no na esi ha. Nesi Kutuka International Airport. Esi Kutuka be 1 month. No more you know that kwesi Air Force base ho. We be see be 1 month. No more you know that kwesi Kumasi. Ohani engineer de ko ye kwesi Efene Tamale Airport. Plane wo pack our airport. Civil aviation for mo sika wo. They should tell us. Sika mutuaye for parking. For bear in FIEMI as an airplane in a man. They should tell us how much was paid for that plane. Meaning there are so many questions. President say about the special prosecutor. Meaning the American say special prosecutor no should collaborate with the Attorney General's Department, the UOCO, possibly the Auditor General. Yeah. So, I'm come with Trimpam Honomia, Monomano, Momano, maybe Sikano. Afa.
The suspicion are now in 2011 away at home press conference. Now free say it was the sitting president then, John Mahama. No, so our suspicion and sign.
It's a sign.
You still think say it's him?
Well, say we are both these elected government official.
Yes.
So, in my own estimation, it confirms they are not yet. Don't forget.
State prosecutors have dropped charges of stealing and money laundering leveled against founder of defunct UT Bank, Kofi Amwabing. He was dragged to the circuit court last month in an effort by the state to punish persons whose actions led to the collapse of some indigenous banks, including Zone. ASP Emmanuel Nyamiche on Wednesday informed the court that the state intends to press charges against Mr. Kofi Amwabing at the High Court. He therefore urged the court to discharge him, a request which was granted. The state's case against the founder of the defunct Beige Bank, Mike Nyineku, however, remains before the circuit court. State prosecutors have also asked for time to file the evidence the state intends to use in the trial. Away from the courts, the Ghana National Fire Service is calling on heads of senior high schools across the country to imbibe fire safety measures in the wake of fire outbreaks destroying some school property. Reports of fire outbreaks in at least 5 senior high schools have raised concerns about fire safety across schools and generally in our society. Although investigations are still ongoing, the Ghana National Fire Service suspects faulty wires could be a contributing factor to these fires raging on. The head of the Public Relations Department for the Ghana National Fire Service, Alex Robinson Okoye, spoke exclusively to JoyNews PSC Nanaya Osafo.
With the first one, we almost finished the investigation. We're trying to analyze the information, the data that we have gathered. The second one, we are still on it, doing investigation. Normally, we don't assign timelines to fire investigations. It could even take years. Normally, it involves a lot of interviews. It involves some excavations, as well as some forensics. That is where we are able to establish whether there's criminality and then hand over to the police. But I must be quick to say that you agree with me that a lot of these schools have been built over the years, and the onus lies on the schools to do some kind of review in the electrical layouts and stuff like that. You know, there should be some kind of review to upgrade, because some of the dormitories had even lower intakes, okay, like the number of people who are supposed to be in the past. But now they have increased, and so all installations should be upgraded to meet that level. Okay. We are only lucky that so far in the schools we haven't heard that, you know, there's been any lives taken. But then it can happen.
The fire service has also further cautioned the general public against poor priority placed on fire safety.
You know, fire safety management is a shared responsibility. I will tell you what to do, but you doing it is another issue altogether. So it is the implementation that we're having problem with. And so the next step is to try and enforce fire safety LI 1724. We will have to go around, give some ultimatum to people, and if they are not able to meet it, then we have to close down their premises.
We'll take you to the court in the Western region, where 2 Nigerian suspects have been charged with the murder of the 3 girls missing in the region who were initially thought to have been kidnapped. Samuel Yudutok Wales and John Oji, who have been in custody for months, were put before the Takoradi Magistrate Court, presided over by His Worship Michael Ampedu. State Attorney Adelaide Kobri-Wood had earlier entered a nolle prosequi at the Secondary High Court to discontinue the trial of the 2 suspects who were facing charges of kidnapping. Natalia Kansa was in court for JoyNews.
At the hearing, Adelaide Kobri-Wood explained her reason for dropping the initial charge of kidnapping. She said her office has finally received the document it was expecting from the police. Immediately after the Secondary High Court granted the plea to drop the initial charge to be replaced with a new charge, the police rearrested suspect John Oji, who was present in court, and charged him with murder. The prosecutor, Chief Inspector B.P. Ahinsang, told the Takoradi Magistrate Court that suspect Sam Udutek Wells could not come to court because he is still serving his 18-month prison sentence for escaping cell and destruction of public property. Chief Inspector Ahinsan then pleaded with the court to remand suspect John Oji into police custody for further investigation to enable them commence the committal process in 2 weeks. The suspect is expected to reappear on February 13. Meanwhile, father of one of the victims, Alexander Kono Kranchi, who sat through the proceedings, told JoyNews, if the police and the state believe the girls are dead and wants to change the charges, then the case should be fast-tracked for justice to be served.
If now the police have realized that the girls are dead and they want to change the charge sheet to murder, I don't have much to say about that. They are doing their work, so I leave everything to them. But only they have to expedite action so that justice should be done on behalf of the missing girls.
Well, over the past 25 years, the multimedia group's focus has been about impacting society, especially sections in dire need of change and constant change. For example, in the year 2016, the multimedia group's documentary team uncovered for the first time extensive congestion in Ghana's prisons and the inhumane treatment prisoners were subjected to. The JoyNews series by Seth Kwame Boateng was captured in 2 documentaries titled Locked and Forgotten and Left to Rot. As we celebrate our Silver Jubilee, JoyNews editor Fifi Kumsim looks back on the impact of the documentary that sparked major reforms in Ghana's prisons.
The documentaries Locked and Forgotten and Left to Rot were a game changer in the advocacy for reforms in Ghana's prison systems. Across the country, thousands of inmates remained crammed in tiny little spaces in the prisons. Their cases had not been determined, no criminal verdict pronounced, but they were held in the most inhumane of conditions. It's a situation prison officials could do very little about. But they found a great partnership in JoyNews. Seth Kwame Boateng was on the beat. Following the revelations, the then Chief Justice, Justice Georgina Theodora Wood, was moved. She reactivated the Justice for All program, a policy to try cases right in the prisons and speed up justice delivery.
I have decided to speak to you on this, given the centrality of the issue to the hearts of Ghanaians and my own lamentations following the graphic images presented by the recent media documentary of Mr. Seth Kwame Boateng of Joy FM, and in respect of which I make the following suggestion. Unless it would disturb your appetites, and I doubt that it would, knowing that lawyers or persons in the legal profession are made of strong staff, may I suggest we watch part, if not the entire abridged version of this thought-provoking documentary.
President at the time, John Mahama, pushed the campaign even further, promising to champion more reforms in the prisons.
It is not easy to be locked away. It is a difficult thing, but the worst thing of all is to be locked away and to be forgotten. The message I bring you today is that you're not forgotten, and I've seen with my own two eyes what I have heard many a time about the conditions in our prisons. And I'd like to thank the two journalists that were acknowledged by your representative when he spoke, because I think those documentaries touched the hearts of people.
The reactivated Justice for All program saw judges deployed to the prisons across the country. Chairman of the program, Justice Clemens Honyanuga, said the reforms meant a great impact on Ghana's prisons.
We sat on 458 cases, and then we released a total of 150, which include those we discharged, those we granted bail, and those we convicted on minor offenses. The Chief Justice has allocated a secretariat. We're going to have a secretariat. The office has been allocated, and the necessary renovation is being done. And very soon we are going to have a secretariat.
For Justice for All
program. It's going to be a secretariat, national secretariat for it, for which they have been appointed a director to man that secretariat. And secondly, the Chief Justice in wisdom has appointed two judges from every region to now be in charge of the program, so that it will not be necessary for us to be traveling all the way from Accra to the regions.
The Chief Justice also ensured that refresher courses were organized for all judges and magistrates across the country. For us at Joy News and the Multimedia Group, the drive continues to shine a light on society's problems and speak truth to power. Fifi Kumsin, Joy News.
And that's it for the news, but we do have more news as we review the newspapers next. But also, you do know that we have the Love Experience. It's our foremost program just to usher you into the great Valentine Day. It's the 14th, of course, next week of February, where we have the great celebration. I got my ticket, 700 Ghana cedis, but you also need to do so. Or if you want a night stay, great plush times to the beach, with the great chefs of the Labadi Beach Hotel, and also having some great time. 7 p.m. it will be that same day. Make sure that it's not only Kwabna who share that experience with you, but also the great Becca. It promises to be a great night of concerts where you wine and dine. You can have some great times walking along the beach that evening, especially if you will be sleeping over, taking the hand of your couple, you know, take your partner's hand, express a lot of love, you know, make it a worthwhile experience. But talking about all that, that's where we bring you Becca. Please enjoy this great one from Becca, the great Becca. And then when we come back, we'll look at what stories that we can have on the front and back pages of the newspapers we have in the studio. Enjoy this.